Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts, Klaus Nightbringer, Sertomono, Seyo Mayo, and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode 15. Whoa, what did I do there? How about we stop the song? Haven't had that happen in a while. Anyway, again, welcome. I am Klaus Nightbringer, and let me bring in the game. There we go. With us, we have a full house again. We've got Lunavox, we have Seyo Mayo, and making his triumphant return, we have Sertomono. Hey everybody, how's it going? Don't all speak at once. Oh.
Good.
There we go. Okay.
Barely any sleep, thanks to a certain live letter.
You have to forgive me, the show channel didn't unmute on my end, so again, the curse strikes.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, we've all been talking here.
Yeah, I almost accidentally stayed up until a live letter without even noticing, but
My alarms didn't go off, so I didn't watch it live. I went back and watched it after I woke up.
I felt like sleeping, so I did. But
apparently I did too.
I was too excited. I went to bed maybe probably right around when Sarah did, and decided I'm only gonna sleep an hour. Get up for this shit.
you were just like a kid at Christmas.
Thinking?
He wasn't, that's the problem.
We love you guys. Don't sacrifice your health for this game. They
it.
have that note whenever you log in.
Sacrifice the game.
It's not a work day. It's fine.
Am I the voice of reason here? Is that like a sign of the apocalypse?
Yes.
I think
yes,
so.
It is.
I think so.
Oh, well, we had a good run, everyone.
We're going to keep going as long as we can, though, even if the apocalypse comes and goes. Well, hey, there have been how many calamities in Eorzea? We can keep it going, right?
The end of the world will be live streamed.
Yep, and I feel fine. All right, I want to start out with a little bit of show news. There will be a schedule change coming up for Phoenix Down Radio. Due to some scheduling conflicts, mainly my real-life job, boo, we will be taking an extra week off. So the next episode 16, will be airing April 16th. So 16 on 16. Is that a sign? Maybe. But just you get an extra week off of us. You can cry or you can rejoice, whichever you prefer. But we will be back. You can breed a chocobo, yes. Yeah, so and then we'll be going back to every other week at that point. So we'll recontinue the 2 weeks between shows at that point. Talk a little bit about the You're Not Alone event that Callie from Limit Break Radio held 2 weeks ago. For those of you who checked it out afterwards, he raised $4,033.04 with that stream.
Team Palindrome.
So Team Palindrome takes the win again. I believe he added up to 2 together, and they were also a palindrome.
Yep, he did. And
So
it was.
Yes. So 3 palindromes in that. So I think that's more like Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Oh, God.
That's not how math works.
No, definitely how math works.
Yes, exactly.
That's how gaming works.
That's how Half-Life 3 works.
Oh, I can't argue with that bit.
Yes, because logics. So, what has everybody in here been up to in the game?
I got a static.
Seyo's got a static? What?
Ooh.
Sort of. Right now it's Paul and I and a white mage and well, we're trying to make stuff work. But shortage of melee DPS and I don't really want to say scheduling conflicts, but scheduling gaffes, snafus, I don't know. We basically had to pug 5 people Friday night when we wanted to go.
Oh,
So
Oof.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing when you're first getting started. But the one thing that you need to make sure, don't get discouraged, because it's a process. You know, you're not going to find the perfect static on the first shot. No matter how much you think you're going to, it's going to take time to build up that teamwork, that trust, and get the right mix of people. So I want you and Paul to make sure that you're not getting discouraged by any of that, and keep plugging at it. A lot of times you can find good people to fill in. You always know that if time permits it, depending on what you're running, Daijo Booty, me, Marth, Nestor, Skage, that group, we'd be able to maybe help you out a little bit as well to kind of help fill in.
we've seen the end of Seth, so we're ready to get some weapons.
I'd like to suggest getting despondent and drinking heavily whenever the slightest little thing goes wrong.
And
What could go
Sarah's
wrong?
back. Welcome back,
That's a
Sarah.
horrible idea.
Like
yeah,
I
that
said,
doesn't sound like the best idea.
I'm
Sarah's
good
back.
at bad ideas. It's like my specialty here.
Speaking of bad ideas, Sarah, what have you been up to?
I take exception to that remark,
Transition.
sir.
Come on, that was a great segue.
but
Come
no-
on.
Yeah, that was pretty decent. Nothing hugely special. Been leveling my tanks. Got both of them to level 59. I really like this whole leveling the same roll together thing to save on gear space. I'm actually super close to getting all of the 80 pieces needed for the anima weapon, and then I just need to get some crafting done. And I've gotten about 12 orchestrion songs in the last week.
Was one of them?
I've been randomly putting them on the jukebox whenever our free company leader is out. Like, he complains about the papaya, so I'll slip in a couple other random things.
But there is no other song but Papaya.
Yes, there is. The Hildebrand song.
Well, I suppose, but just only those two. Only those two.
I actually really like When a Tree Falls. That's the Gathering Leaf quest music. It has a sort of spirit of intrepid adventure to it.
I really like all the music. I'm kidding. I love all the music in there, but it is that season. It is papaya. Papaya, 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 papaya.
Oh, damn it!
I know I can easily get you going with that. And Vox, what have you been up to?
Well, I got through Midas Normal this week.
Yeah, and I'm sad that I didn't get to push through it with you. I do apologize. I know I'm a bad.
But
I'll throw in that I still need to finish 3 and 4 for the first time.
We can definitely help with that too. I'll need
Sweet.
it on Tuesday again. So.
Papaya.
well,
Anyways,
Chili papaya.
and me and So actually got into a Sephiroth group. Like, we didn't clear it, but we learned a hell of a lot.
Yeah, Skage was leading that, so it went pretty well.
Yeah.
Colors.
No, he actually didn't do that. But
Oh. And Chili in the chat saying they finally cleared Ravana Extreme. Congratulations,
Nice.
Chili. Very nice.
Congratulations.
well done.
Anything else major happen with everybody?
I've been crafting a lot. I only have one more craft, which is armor below 50.
Very cool. So pretty soon you'll be able to do everything or repair everything yourself.
Yep, that's my first goal.
I got up to 125 minions.
Ooh, very nice. I think that's close to where I'm at.
Nice.
So yes, lots of the minions.
Also, I taught middle schoolers science, and I did not go insane.
I kind of fantasiaed in real life.
Well, no, you called Jean Delaine.
Well, either way, my hair is bright pink now.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is very pretty.
Follow
I like it.
Luna_Vox on Twitter and you will see.
Yep.
Well, and not just me, but Daijo Booty, and you may have seen it when we were streaming it. We finally cleared A5S last week.
Yay.
So we started working on A6, and really cool part, I got my Maiden necklace, so I have my first 240 piece.
You always get a drop no matter what you do.
Not always.
Oh, damn
I do have some pretty good. I do have relatively good luck, except when it comes to birds or stuff like that. Because I did some Bismarck farming today and did about 10 runs, and yeah, no birds dropped at all.
So what you're saying is we should bird farm with you.
Yes.
Sure.
Because then we will get birds.
But
Yeah.
none. Well, if they drop, that is. But I'm gonna roll and get it. So.
I'd like to bird farm Sephiroth.
Well, I just
Oh God.
I need more things for other weapons as well. So eventually I'll need to do that.
I should actually clear
Well,
those.
it's gonna be kind of irrelevant for the weapon here in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Dude, those things are dripping with style. Thank you.
Digital style?
Oh God, get out of here.
Not tonight, right?
The role of Klaus will now be performed by my wind-up Tudberry.
All right, and then the Twitter and Twitch contest is still going. We are up to 81 Twitter followers and 126 Twitch follows. So thank you guys. Just as a reminder, that once we hit 100 Twitter followers, we are going to pick a random person to get a custom commission drawn by Luna of their character or whatever they want. Once we get to that point, we'll do the drawing. And once we hit 200 Twitch followers, we are going to pick a random person to get a Mog Station minion. So look forward to that. And like I said, help us out. We appreciate it when you guys follow us and like us, check us out and things like that. So there's that. Let's go into some Final Fantasy news. Let's start with kind of an interesting one that I thought. There was a news article talking about the Final Fantasy XI being confirmed for mobile devices. Did you guys get a chance to read the article that I popped up in on the webpage?
Yeah, I saw
I
that
skimmed
one.
through it.
It was interesting because I know there had been the previous announcement, which they actually showed back at that major press conference of like the kind of little mobile game version, the really simplified one that followed the plot, and this looked like something very different.
Yeah, that was Final Fantasy Grandmasters that they were showing off before. That's very similar to Record Keeper, actually.
It's more of a sequel, I believe, to Final Fantasy XI than it is the replacement. Whereas this new version is going to be done by what is the name of that company again? I forgot.
Nexon.
Nexon, yes. They do some Korean free-to-play stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, they did Dragon's Nest and a few other things. They usually partner with like NCSoft.
But yeah, at first I thought it was going to be that one, so I was a little surprised to see that announcement.
But they're going to be shuttering the console version of that here soon. They're giving out free copies of the Windows version to anybody who owns a 360 or PS2 version of it, I believe, so you can continue your sub there. Plus, I believe there's going to be a free weekend this weekend for it.
Yeah, that has already begun.
That started yesterday, I believe. So if you have an 11 character that you haven't been playing for a while and you want to see what's going on in Vana'diel, by all means, you can sign into your Play Online account and jump in there. Unless you're like me and you don't have it on your new computer. So
guys, question. As someone who's never played 11, would the mobile version be good for me? Or anyone who has never played 11?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say yes, because they said that they're actually going to simplify the battle system so that it actually works well on a touchscreen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be as slow and arduous and arbitrary.
So I would say it's probably going to have maybe the soul of it, but I'm wondering if there's going to be any way that we can carry over our existing or old characters into that world.
They were talking about it, so we'll see what happens.
I remember it was actually a point of comparison that came up back when Final Fantasy XIV was having a Realm Reborn, because 1.0 was a lot like 11 in that it was kind of a much slower paced battle system. A lot of you need to do really dependent on those auto attacks and then occasional abilities. And the one we have is so much more fast paced, which makes for really interesting and fun battles, but very different feel there. It's hard to go back to that older style at this point.
Definitely. But I thought that was kind of interesting, so I wanted to throw a mention out on that. Maybe we'll hear more about that in the coming weeks. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I really hope we do.
This one... Go ahead, sorry.
It feels like there's still really a lot of affection for, even though 14's gotten old, it's kind of been this cornerstone for such a long time. So it feels like there's a lot of affection for it and wanting to still give it a little bit of respect. That's the impression I've gotten.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old statesman in Final Fantasy MMOs, and like I said, a lot of people have a lot of good memories of it, so hopefully it's able to, keep living up to that. Moving on, this little bit of news excited most of us in the show. They are bringing out a Fat Cat and a Goobu plushies. They are available for pre-order on the Square Enix website. So if you have not seen that or have not ordered yours, what the hell are you thinking? Go now. Do it. We'll wait.
The Goobu can make like this comfy back pillow. They had pictures of it.
I almost bought one for that, but
international flights.
I ended up going just with the Fat Cat.
Yeah, I just got the Fat Cat.
Because it's so fluffy.
It's so fluffy.
So
and
fluffy.
fat.
If your landlord won't have a few pets, let you have pets. It's a good substitute.
And it'll roll on its side just like mine is doing.
Aww, so
Maybe.
soft.
So that's coming out. They run $40 right now. So if they're still available, go get your pre-order in because you never know what digital goodies might come with it.
So real quick though, on that note, I know we were talking before about another Fat Cat minion that was found in the data files.
The wall white one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's speculation that might come with it. There's been no confirmation, so I mean, take this with the biggest grain of salt that you can find. But maybe one decides that the Spriggan's carrying, but
Maybe.
Oh man, I'm gonna start a restaurant with Spriggan waiters now. You've convinced me.
Oh God.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Another episode of
Besides
Good
that.
Ideas with Sarah.
Besides everything.
All right, so this one came out about 2.5 weeks ago, I suppose, or was it just 2 weeks ago? During a developer conference, Microsoft had mentioned they were open to cross-console play. Normally, I mean, they had been talking about putting Final Fantasy XIV on the Xbox One, but did not do it because Microsoft would not allow the game to connect to outside servers. Now they are rethinking that stance. What do you guys think of that? Do you think we'd be able to see Final Fantasy XIV on the Xbox One?
Let me tell you what's going to happen with this. They're going to do it, and then we're going to get all the little 12-year-olds saying, "Oh my God, lol, noob, get good."
Don't we have that already?
It's going to be worse.
You'll get like that flood of them.
Maybe to start, they'll buy the game, they'll try it out, they won't sub because mommy and daddy cut off the funding or something, but
I mean, you always get that batch to start off with. There's always like a period that's your new eternal September or whatever. But then it dies down a bit and you end up with a batch of reasonable people. And a batch of people so scarred for life that they're like, I will never play with anyone I find is on the Xbox. It's this beautiful cycle that plays out time and again.
that's why we all need to
And by
become
beautiful, I mean
mentors.
kind of terrible.
That's why all need to become mentors, so that way we can tell them all to shut the hell up, get good,
We are
or get the fuck
mentors.
out.
We can tell them that.
Exactly.
And my thanks to the people I've seen this last week or two who have actually been trying to be good mentors. I've been seeing a lot of good stuff there. I just wanted to mention.
I have still not made it into the mentor network yet.
I've been in there just before I'm about to leave.
Yeah, it really depends on time of day. The fact that it automatically sticks you in there and that you don't have the option to leave if you're going to be away for a bit or whatever is a little annoying. But I think they're changing that.
I am that I can see them saying pretty childish things like that, but then you say even more childish things back to them, and they usually shut up after that. So I'm not going to say what I would say to them because, well, while we're swearing now, I really don't want it to get too bad. So yeah, we'll leave that to your imagination. Moving on.
Don't escalate, and it's probably fine.
Well, it depends on how bad it is and how much of a dick you want to be back. So
It would just be a bunch of 20-somethings, 30-somethings yelling at small children. It would be fantastic.
Nothing can go wrong.
No one will call the cops or anything.
Exactly.
How are your kids doing there, Luna?
They're asleep.
All right. So, speaking of other console news, PlayStation VR price was announced recently. They announced it at $400. And now I know Final Fantasy, they've done a little bit of showcasing some of the technology with the PlayStation VR, with the Titan fight. So what do you think that that would mean for virtual reality with Final Fantasy XIV now that we have prices announced for VR on all the different, for PC and for PlayStation?
For reasons I'll get into later, I don't really see it happening a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of Titan's crotch. That's all I
it's a
can
little
think
bit
of
too,
is Titan's crotch.
Well, isn't that what basically it seemed to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got your paladin sitting up there tanking in first person, and all you see is that that dangly banana hammock and the little pebbles.
And then you turn
Yeah.
around that badonkadonk.
Yeah, if I'm going to be tanking, I want a lot more input on monster design. Thank you.
I mean, like I said, I think theoretically it could be cool, but I don't really know how well it's going to work because, I mean, you'll miss out on a lot of visual cues that we currently rely on. So, I mean, any first-person MMO is going to have to be really designed to be, around what is natural for vision and how we can see these cues. So,
Yeah, it kind of feels more like a gimmick at this point than anything else. Like, hey, this is a neat curiosity.
though I did listen to a small interview done on IGN. They were talking with a founder of the. I don't remember I'm very bad with details apparently, but it was for the Golem game. He had worked with Bungie, and he then worked with a couple other big game companies, but now he is working in another small team, and they're developing this first-person game for the PlayStation VR called Golem, and that's supposed to be really interesting as well. So, I mean, they're working on really trying to find the right way to use it. I'm not sure how I would personally use it at this point because, well, I'm getting older and everything's gimmicky now. But isn't that how it always goes when you start to get older?
No,
Courage,
we
get
are
off my lawn.
We are correct. It's
If we
everyone
can do
else who's
anything
wrong.
with, we can do anything like keep talking and nobody explodes. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I'm interested to see what it would do, but I don't think I'm ready to spend $400 on a headset. Especially with I know I wear glasses, I have a slightly lazy eye, and I think that whole experience just wouldn't be the same for me as it would be for normal people. So
I have a feeling I
Yeah.
get really, really sick, like super fast wearing it. Because I get motion sickness and
I'd love to try it though, but like I said, I'm not ready
Yeah.
to plop down $400 at this point, or $600 for the Oculus, or $800 for the Vive. So
It's a little hard to commit at this point.
but and we have a visitor in the chat. Hi Tristan, how are you doing, buddy? Happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter, Tristan.
Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Hope everything's well. For those who don't know, Tristan started with us here at the beginning, and he had to head off for personal reasons. So I'm happy to see you back, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by, and maybe
We miss you.
We do miss you. It's not quite the same. Seo's been filling in, okay, I guess.
I do what I can.
But
oh man, this is about to get so socially awkward.
no, that's all
Anyways,
good.
moving on.
Anyway, I just wanted to say hi, Tristan, and
Hey Tristan.
all that good stuff. So moving on, talk a little bit about the Dev Diary that series that they've had going on YouTube. They just came out with the third and I believe final chapter, visual design. Did you guys get a chance to watch it at all, or was I the only one?
I've
I
watched
did.
little bits and pieces. I didn't really retain much of it, but
Yeah.
I watched the whole set. It was really interesting. I think I really love a lot of those glimpses into the challenges that they have when they're trying to create new content. Like especially a lot of the motion capture stuff there, and talking about the process of figuring out which mouse should fly and how to justify that. Like the focus on story and trying to keep that story realistic. And as much as any fantasy story can be realistic, really came up when they were talking about the chocobo. It's like,
Oh my
yes,
god!
it would be hilarious if this fat chocobo flew, but we need at least some reasonably compelling reason he would do that.
I know.
And cake.
Cake.
That
was pretty funny. And the reason I think this was the last one is that at the end of it, Yoshi P comes out and he talks with us saying, hope we enjoyed the glimpse into the development process that went into Heavensward. And, I'm hoping that maybe if we give enough feedback that, yes, we really enjoyed it, maybe we'll see more of that. Because I really thought that was cool.
Yeah, we'll be getting into this a bit more later in the episode, but we've definitely seen time and again that, hey, they really like to keep open those channels of communication, show a lot that's going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do get feedback that, hey, this is something that's working for people that they do similar in future.
Definitely. Anybody else want to say anything about it real quick? I will take the silence as a no. Moving on then, in just a few days, they will be holding the Final Fantasy 15 Uncovered event at 7 p.m. Pacific in LA. It's been, supposedly they're going to be announcing the release date of Final Fantasy 15, which has been in the making for, what, about 6 years now? 5-6 years? Way too freaking long.
I have lost track at this point.
But there has been a rumored release date going around of September 30th. But we'll kind of see where that kind of all comes when they announce it, I guess. So.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Exactly. Well, like I said,
Needs more dragons.
Yeah. So my concept of Final Fantasy 15 right now is the old concept of Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, why did you have to bring that up? We were doing so well.
Too soon.
Hey, I have Duke Nukem Forever. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
Look what you're playing right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've
Do
ever
you need
played
to
it.
talk to someone about it?
I only bought it because it's Duke Nukem Forever. Come on, and it was like $5.
It's okay, Klaus. The game can't hurt you anymore.
Speaking of games that can't.
That's not true. It can hurt you at any time, but.
Speaking of games that can't hurt you, Phantasy Star Online 2 is doing a crossover event with Final Fantasy 14. Did you guys hear that? I'm sure you guys all know about the news on this one.
Yes. This is actually pretty incredible.
It looks really good. They are getting skins of our relic weapons, and I believe they're getting the Makote race-specific equipment.
As well as a very, very faithful recreation of
Earth's Font.
Earth's Font, the Odin Trial.
Yes, I've been told it looks very nice, so...
Yeah, I saw some video of it. It was pretty amazing. This is something I have noticed a lot. I feel like you see a lot more in Japan. Just these kinds of collaborations, shared event. Hey, we're going to have a crossover thing and have some fun with it. I feel like we don't get that as much here, and I'm not really sure why.
Well, it takes development resources and things like that. In a game like Final Fantasy XIV, they have all their events planned out months in advance. We're going to talk a little about what that means, the crossover event means for Final Fantasy XIV in a bit. So I mean, it's something that they're thinking about. But like I said, it's cool to know that they are thinking about it. So.
Mm-hmm.
This piece of news came about a couple of days ago, and it was a little disturbing. There was a number of player account bans that went out on, I believe it was Thursday. The same day that Square Enix announced a prohibition on unauthorized resale of Final Fantasy XIV Steam codes. I don't know if this was coincidence or related, but we're leaning more towards somewhat related in this. There were 3 different threads on Reddit that were started within a very close time from each other that they were all banned for 72 hours for cheating, botting, hacking, when they did nothing of the sort that they are aware of.
Or at least that they claim.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I mean, 3 of them at the same time, the same day that they bring out this thing.
Within hours apart.
Exactly. Go ahead,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm being pedantic.
The speculation is, at least what I think, that the unauthorized sales of codes were to RMT accounts, and they came from a specific vendor. And there's a few instances that were probably caught up in that because they wanted to purchase it for a little less expensive than full retail price, potentially. And because they bought from that same vendor at the same time frame, they were probably caught up in the same dragnet.
Yeah, that's always a risk you take when you do stuff like this. I know, talking about my work at the bookstore, there's things like medical textbooks, nursing tests, and things like that get stolen from us all the time. And if you ever see someone who's selling it on Craigslist or whatever, or eBay or whatever, where it's like 50% off the retail price, other things like that, with some type of story about, how they don't need it, or no story at all, more often than not, it's something that they stole from someone else and they're just trying to shift it.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a little different. This is more digital things, but there's things that go in line with that, with like DRM and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So they're just being careful to make sure that now only Steam can sell Steam codes at this point.
Yeah.
So
It's just always a risk that you take when you go through those unauthorized resellers, other things like that. You can get good deals, but you are taking a risk that it's going to be involved with something illicit.
So be careful out there. Make sure that the code that you're buying is from a legitimate reseller that was vetted by Square Enix, or that you're getting a physical copy.
We would rather not have you randomly disappear.
Exactly. So we'll see what comes of that. 3.22 came out recently. Basically just made some PvP changes. Biggest one being they took the nerf bat to Summoner. Anybody play Summoner?
Nope.
No, but I'm very happy about the next change that happened.
The Bard Machinist change?
I'm sorry,
the next one?
The next one.
The caster is needing to take 15% damage before interruption.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I suppose as a black mage, you like that, so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing I'm not sure of is, I don't know if that includes Bard, quote-unquote, casting.
It does.
I never really paid attention, I guess, but I switch back and forth between Wanderers anyway, when I need to be on the run versus all that, so.
Yeah, whatever else is happening in a match, it's really frustrating when you feel absolutely powerless to do anything, and if every action's getting interrupted, that stops feeling like a fun experience really quickly.
Though there are stories going about that now it's making the really good healers basically invincible at this point, because they're not getting enough damage taken on them before they can to interrupt their heals, so they're not going down at all. Mainly Astros, because they have quick cast heals.
And the pendulum swings back the other way.
It always does. I mean, it's trying to find that right balance. I can see them making more changes. I mean, we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but there have been some announced changes coming forward in 3.25 that are going to be coming with PvP, so we'll talk about those in a bit. The other one big change was PvP raise was reduced to a 10-second recast, but I don't heal in that. Luna, do you ever use your PvP heal or your PvP raise?
Yes, I do. That's going to make it a hell of a lot easier. Definitely. Otherwise, well,
I couldn't see a point for it otherwise.
Yeah, like with a 15% thing and the raise being reduced to 10 seconds, like I can actually feel like I'm doing something now and not just letting my team just get freaking annihilated.
Gotcha.
It's that feeling of powerlessness.
Yeah.
It's a killer for fun.
So, and then the last thing we're going to talk about in-game news before we get into the live letter is Yoshi P did address some Novice Network feedback. There was quite a long post that was translated and put over to the NA forums. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I did put some bullet points down. They're going to change the duration of the new adventurer status. It's no longer going to be just 40 hours. It's going to be until players complete the MSQ before the fall and have played over 168 hours, or you can remove the status manually. So, if you're bringing an alt up, maybe you want to turn it off right away. But if it's your first playthrough, take advantage of the new adventurer status and access to the Novice Network. So.
Oh man, people get so happy when someone's actually asking questions. I've seen people falling all over themselves to help. It's really great.
I don't get into it enough, so I'm not really sure what's all going on, because most of the time it just seems like mentors are talking back and forth to each other.
Yeah, I mean, that is what seems to happen a lot. The mentors talk back and forth. A lot of the newbies seem to be listening and asking occasional questions about stuff that confuses them. But sometimes even just that exposure to, hey, these are ideas that are going to be important later, can be helpful.
Yeah. And then speaking of not being able to get into the Mentor Network, mentors will be removed from the Novice Network chat when they go AFK to allow other mentors to actively participate. I like that.
Yes. Agreed. That should have been implemented from the very start.
And I like this next one even better. The auto-join feature that they're going to be implementing will be defaulting to off for mentors in 3.25. So you have to manually turn it on to join the Novice Network.
Excellent.
Yeah, that would be nice too.
Yeah, that seems to make sense as well. I do like helping people, but sometimes I just want to take a break and decide, hey, I'm not going to do it right this second. And being thrown in there can be really frustrating. I've seen plenty of people ask you to be kicked because it's like, hey, I want to help people, but right now I'm not up to
Yeah,
it.
I'm in the middle of Savage, or I'm just sitting here crafting, and I really don't want to be bugged. I'm Netflixing, and while I will go through this stack of stuff, kick me out.
You're right.
Mhm.
So
And so having a better way to get people out of there will be nice.
yep, and maybe they'll also have a way that you can manually remove yourself. So I'm hoping that's the other
Yeah.
feature. They're possibly considering different mentor types, like a crafting or a gathering mentor, as well as a PvP mentor. I think those are kind of interesting ideas. I thought they were actually going to be bringing in the DOH and DOL mentors because that was why you needed to have a crafter and a gatherer at 60. See, I thought there
Yeah,
were two
I thought
separate
that
things
too.
to the DOW stuff.
Right.
But apparently,
so they're all
they're all
clumped as one thing at the
yes,
moment?
at this point they are. So I hope they split that off soon.
Yeah, it seems like before they were looking for just kind of like generalists who could handle any type of topic, and now there's a little bit more of if you like focusing on this, hey, maybe you have people who are specialized at helping for some stuff.
Yep.
I feel a lot more confident in helping people with learning how to gather than with teaching them battle stuff.
Depending on what your main is, I mean, everyone's going to be a little bit different. So I'm hoping that they can split that off a little bit. And then the possibility of new players to automatically join or display a confirmation to join the novice network. I'm not sure how I feel about that particular one.
That scares me. That really scares me. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be, half-hearted with that one. It really does scare me because I feel
RMT.
like all the RMT are going to take up all the legitimate new player
Yeah.
spots,
And also-
until somebody kicks them.
Also,
So, one
Tristan,
thing I'll-
I think that Vox has missed your flowcharts.
What?
Tristan in the chat says, I'll come back to mentor Vox on Craft again. More flowcharts.
Oh, great. Lovely. Just what I need.
The flowcharts. Yay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Sarah. Go ahead.
No worries. One thing I'll point out, the capacity, and it's actually come up in the discussion a few times, the capacity on the Novice Network is 100 mentors and up to 400 new participants.
412,
I think
technically.
412. It's 512 total, and then about 100 for mentors. I think the goal there has been, it's okay if a mentor can't get in, because there's probably going to be another mentor there who can help. But if a new player can't get in, then there's not going to be anyone to help.
Yeah, that's definitely be problematic if you can't get the people who actually need the help in there. So,
Yeah.
But
So
then again,
capacity-wise, I'm not as worried about that, just because it does seem to have been built for very high new player capacity.
yep. But I like to see that they're coming out with possibility to make changes and improvements to it. So let's see what they come up with in the future.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll become more than just a Burger King crown on our heads.
Hopefully.
Are you
Man,
knocking the
big.
crown?
So,
Oh, God.
yeah, I'm not getting rid of my crown either. I love my crown. But anyway, producer live letter 28.
Woo.
I like Vox's
Good
first
times.
note there.
God. Oh, that pissed me off so freaking badly. Apparently, my phone did not want me to wake up for this.
Your phone saw you needed sleep.
But I'll read the note for the chat. Damn phone alarms not going off and me sleeping through it. Goddamn technology not goddamn working. Grumble,
Grumble.
You actually wrote grumble, grumble.
She
Yeah, don't
actually
judge
wrote
me.
grumble, grumble.
Grumble, grumble.
So, little story that I didn't tell anybody yet. So this is like not even on the notes, but I did not know that when I actually set my alarm for this morning, because I just wanted to take a quick nap, it was set to oblivion. Scared the shit out of me.
That'll wake you up, won't it?
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Anyway, so
Oh,
who wants to lead on the PLL notes?
I can.
All right. Since you were so,
Grumble, grumble.
grumbly about it,
Grumble,
go ahead.
grumble.
Go
It's
ahead,
time
Vox.
for your
Alright.
revenge.
All right. Well, with this live letter, it mainly seemed like we had a huge Q&A, which is nice, but it's not exactly what I want out of a live letter, but we did get some answers to some things.
Yeah, we'll link the official forums translations in the show notes when this goes out on the webpage. So you can check out what the Q&A all covered at that point, it was the first part of the live letter. But
Yeah.
what we're going to go more into is the upcoming things that are coming in 3.25 and 3.3 and going forward. So go ahead,
Yep.
Vox.
Yeah, definitely go give the Q&A a read through. It's nice. It addresses some major questions we have. So definitely when we post that, take a look. But what we are going to get, it seems like, is there's going to be some adjustments to the feast. Again.
Again.
It's
Go
it's
ahead, sir.
PvP. It always takes a bit of tuning and balancing.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if this is going to be the esports thing where people are going to be drawn into this game to do. They need to make sure that it's tuned and it's something that people want to really do. So I mean, it's going to be a learning curve on this one. There's going to be constant changes on it. So this isn't going to be new.
Which means every time you learned it, they're gonna change it.
Well,
Have fun with that.
I mean, it's not like
pretty much.
It's not like it's going to be brand new rules. It's going to be just minor tweaks here and there, and with the occasional nerf bat.
Well, eventually people are going to, like with every single change, they're going to have to change their strategy up a little bit.
Yep.
Which will piss some people right the hell out of the door.
But
Yeah.
I a lot of people complain about this, and I just want to get this out of the way real quick. People have said that they don't like the way this PvP is set up because it's set specifically. You have to have a tank, a healer, a ranged, and a melee. Where a lot of other PvPs, you can go in with an open job set. You can go any jobs you want. Now that would be fine if you're going in as preformed, and maybe they should remove that restriction from preformed groups. But when you're going in solo queue that's ranked, you want to make sure that your team and the opposing team are going to be as fair and equal as possible. You want everybody to be on as equal a footing as possible, and that your skill is what gives you the win, not the fact that you brought in X, Y, or Z flavor of the month.
Yeah.
That's my
How
2
about
bits.
that meta?
Yeah. Well,
Twink,
it seems like
Twink Destruction Squad of the Month or something.
Exactly, like going in with 4 summoners before the nerf bat type of thing,
I can just imagine 4 summoners rushing everything.
No, how about 2 summoners, a scholar, and a warrior? That would be pretty OP.
No, they
Yeah.
just need their Aggies and they're
Well,
good.
triple fell cleave plus the spam the dot spam and death flare, and then everybody on their side getting huge crit lustrates. So yeah, good luck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
Or no, even worse, an Astro in there with all on shield spec.
Anyway, guys.
Anyway, sorry.
Getting back to the subject, what they're going to do is the adjustments to the adrenaline rush. Are they going to nerf it, or are they going to?
They didn't specify that I saw.
No, they really didn't. They just said they're gonna change it up.
I'm
One way or
wondering if they're
another.
going to increase the amount that it builds up, because it takes a while. Because the biggest thing that I noticed is they're reducing the amount of time you're actually playing in the game. It started at 10 minutes, then they adjusted down to 8. Now they're going down less again. So I'm thinking that they're going to.
I have to interrupt you for a second.
Yes, I see it.
In the chat, you're saying duck leave all wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Duck leave. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There we go.
All right. Fuck leave.
All right. They're also going to be reducing the numbers of walls in the middle area too.
There's a lot of fucking walls in the middle area.
There is a lot of fucking walls, but I like those fucking walls as a healer.
The walls are too damn high.
My most favorite thing to do is freaking kite someone just in circles around one of the little walls. That is my freaking goddamn thing. Number one thing in PvP to do.
On the time reduction on the map, I actually do feel like I've done matches a few times, and after a bit, it's like, okay, this is dragging on. The other team is clearly doing better. We're not going to be able to catch up. Can this just be complete, and then we can possibly go again against another team? So I definitely think this has come up a lot with development of other games. Like Team Fortress 2 is a big one where it talks about this, where hey, you don't necessarily want a super long match time. You want to get through it, not have it be a slog, and then you can go and have another match and have another super fun arrangement.
Well, depending on the map type when you're talking TF2, because I mean, I've been playing that game forever, and I love it. You've seen me stream it a few times, people, but with that,
My understanding is that a lot of the maps do promote that unstable equilibrium, where if one team gets an advantage, they can push that for a win, rather than having a match drag out to like 20 or 30 or however many minutes.
Yeah.
It's not fun to have a match go that long.
But a lot of times what'll happen then as well is if there isn't balance, they'll actually swap up teams to give it balance. Like if blue team wins 3 in a row, they'll change things up and they'll randomly move people back and forth between teams to try and even it out.
Sure,
And
but you
kinda-
do need to actually get to the point where the match is over and they're swapping the teams.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of on that note, though, they are doing a time reduction on the matches again.
yep.
Right.
They didn't
So-
say for what, but they're saying 8 minutes is still too long. So I'm betting either 7.5 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
5
Maybe
minutes would be
something
too short.
It seems like they want something that's kind of savage and fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're also going to be making some changes to the matchmaking adjustments to matchmaking. So I'm hoping that'll help to get more queues to pop, because I don't know who was watching last night. I was streaming some Friday Night Fights, doing a little bit of the feast, and my queues took like 20 minutes a shot.
Yeah, you had shit queues.
They were terrible. And I actually had to re-queue once after 20 minutes, and the next one took
Ew.
20 minutes. So it was terrible. So I
Ew.
thought maybe it was just a mistake, but nope. It was just nobody was fucking queuing.
Damn.
Or-
Matchmaker,
Do you
matchmaker,
think-
make me a match.
Or it's because I'm a ranged DPS.
Do
Oh.
you think though that the matchmaking is going to be completely fixed, or you're getting matched up to somebody of semi-equal skill before the season starts, or do you think they're going to kind of hold that out for
Well,
the
I-
actual season?
It depends on what the actual changes that they plan on making are going to be. So maybe they just need to tweak the algorithm a little bit, and what the effect they're looking for is. Are they worried about the queues being too long and people dropping, or are they more worried about people getting queued up against a team that's too strong?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that season 2 starts in about 2 weeks.
Well, technically
After
season 1.
3.25. Well, huh?
This is preseason,
Yeah, this is preseason.
so it'd be technically
Did you-
season 1.
Well, who typed season 2 in the show notes, Klaus?
I don't know. Was it
I don't
me?
know either. It wasn't me.
Oh.
Wasn't me.
Well, season 1.
Fair.
I'm Spartacus.
Okay, I fixed it. Season 1 starts season starts 2 weeks after. It's right. You just need to learn to read.
I have new glasses on the way. That's my excuse.
Okay. So season starts 2 weeks after 3.25 drops, which is supposedly quote unquote next week. My guess is actually the week after, because we haven't seen
Yeah.
anything on Lodestone yet about an impending maintenance.
Yep.
Or
But
they're
moving
being
on with
stealthy.
that,
Moving on.
animal weapons are continuing in 3.25.
So if you haven't beat Cephx, you better get your ass through it, boys and girls.
Right?
Let's do that after this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
But they did show the dark weapons and the white mage weapons. Very whimsical, very elegant design, like they were before.
Yeah, I like that white mage staff. That's very nice
Yeah.
looking.
The
It's
Garuda
not a
boobies.
well. Yeah, I didn't see any Garuda boobies on that one.
Oh, they were on there.
Were
Trust
they
me.
there? I just saw
They were
I saw
probably there.
wings. I just saw wings.
What are you things in between the wings?
I don't.
Garuda boobies.
I thought it was a gooseneck.
Garuda boobies.
Okay, well, I'll have to. The one I saw was potato quality, so maybe it would look like potato boobs. I don't know.
Lala
Fox,
felt
I just-
quality.
Tater
I
tots.
just want to get a recording of you saying Garuda boobies and play that over and over throughout the workday whenever I'm feeling a little bit stressed.
How about Velcleave?
Cleave Garuda boobies.
Moving on.
All right. New way to get crafting and gathering material is coming.
You kind of totally skipped the Void Arc.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, we'll go back on that.
Okay.
She just doesn't care about Void.
You
Arc.
don't gotta
You
know
need to
that
learn
I
to
skip things. Garuda boobies are in my head right now. I'm kind of distracted.
Vox is easily distracted. Oh, look, Garuda boobies.
Woo, Garuda boobies! Yay! Anyways, as Klaus said, Void Arc! New Void Arc is coming. I thought it kind of looked Mayan Temple-ish, and it's actually outdoor greenery.
I didn't get a chance to see any pictures of that, but I mean,
It-
from what I'm hearing, it sounds like an interesting thing. It's an outdoor raid,
Yeah.
quote unquote raid.
Well, I mean, Hullbreaker was kind of that outdoor look as well.
Well,
And
that was
I
a
think
dungeon,
really
though.
worked for it.
I mean, and so was
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lost City.
Right. I feel like Hullbreaker achieved that a little bit better. Like,
Mhm.
you can
Well-
do stuff that has a kind of like open outdoor field.
See, I'm
Feel
just trying
to
to
it.
figure out how the outdoorsy Mayan temple-ish thing connects to the airship that we see flying in Sea of Clouds.
Sayo, you brought up an interesting point, thinking that we might end up getting to the Machi City.
Yeah. I mean, like that could be some ruins of the Mach Empire, the
And-
Machi.
Chili in the chat basically confirmed that it's set in the Machi City. So
Oh man. Wonder what's left of.
Chili,
we're
we might
going
have to
the
hire you
FAM
up then. So you might become another lore person here. We're gonna be stacked with lore people here.
Oh my gosh.
Then we're gonna argue all that. Let's do this.
Lovely.
And-
Fantastic.
and then we'll have to get Fusion X, and we'll have to get God. Why am I blanking on his name now? The other big lore guy, Ethis Asher. There we go.
You realize how much we lore people like to argue and debate, right?
That would
the
be-
show's gonna be like 4 hours of us arguing,
Well-
and you guys occasionally be
We're
like,
gonna have
"Can
to
I
make
say
a new
something? Can I
podcast."
say something? No.
We're gonna split it up.
Lorbrarian versus Lorbrarian.
Yes. That could be a we can make it a weekly thing.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving
New
on.
crafted gathering and crafting gear, whatever. It looks very much like the gear we've seen. It has goggles and very
It looks very ironworksy.
workhorsey. Yeah, it looks like stuff we've seen just in different colors. Honestly,
I like the fact that it's Omnicrafter and Omnigatherer gear, one set
Yes.
for all of it.
yes,
That makes me
well,
happy.
They seem to have been going towards having the crafting stuff through specialization, so that means that they can relax a little bit on the gear, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably still going to require us to have a specialization in order to craft these particular pieces. So we'll
Right.
still have to work
But
together with other people.
But before, you could just like level all the crafters, all that. So the only real valve they had on limiting your progress was to make it so each one would need a different gear set. Now that they've got another way to limit it on that and to control that, they can relax a little bit and say, "Hey, you can use the one set of gear." It's a kind of a quality of life thing, I think.
Also, 3.3 is a catch-up patch, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's gone in that way before. I mean, look at the artisan gear from back in 2.x. That was
I am still
2.3, I
cranky
believe.
that-
So
Still cranky that I can't desynth some of those pieces. I was gonna get Mastercraft Demi Materia out of it, and then they ruined my plans.
Oh, Sarah. Anyways, anima style armor ideas are being thrown around. They wouldn't be implemented until 4 point whatever, but definitely not in Heaven's Ward.
basically, a way to like, customize a job-specific relic gear is what they're kind of talking about there.
I wonder if that might be the way that they start inserting these specialty abilities.
That's a possibility. You have to go through a quest line to earn the ability on your piece, or something like that.
Maybe.
You unlock
Yeah.
its potential. Like in didn't a lot of the quests in Final Fantasy 11 have that type of thing?
Something like that, yeah. It
With-
was a fairly common theme.
So I mean, I can see it's something like that working through here. That you work up the levels to increase its the strength of it, and you can keep expanding it. So you're not always buying new set and then throwing it away and getting a new set and throwing that one away with the new set, and you can.
And re-glamoring it.
But yeah, exactly. You get a similar look, maybe a different glow to it, or a different enhancements or accoutrement, whatever.
I'd really like to see gear that you can choose what color your glow is.
Ooh.
Well,
Right.
can't you choose the color of the glow on like the I-200 relic weapons?
I have no idea.
Or there's something that you can change the color of the glow with.
I don't recall seeing anything like that.
I thought I heard somebody say
Mhm.
that on some of that, but maybe I'm mistaken. But yes, if they
Yeah.
can't do it, make it a thing.
Please. Okay, guys.
This is the thing that you want.
The most important thing in this whole entire freaking live letter to happen.
Hildebrand.
No, shut up. They announced coming in 3.3 new housing plots and apartment system.
Oh god.
So
The
now you can
assault
live in the ghetto.
continues. I know. I'm not going to live in the ghetto. I'm going to have my own freaking house in the Ishgardian whatever place. Which, if that's the ghetto, if that's the new freaking goblet, I don't give a fuck.
Have you seen how
I want
Ishgard
a new
treats
house.
outsiders?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you're
gonna be
not a
shanty
noble,
town.
therefore wherever you live is the ghetto. They will define it as such.
So I'm going to go live in the ghetto then. Okay. But no, freaking seriously. Give Luna her house.
Well, you're gonna have to make sure that you're on when 3.3 opens up, so you can buy your
trust me,
house.
I will be.
You're gonna mark that. And yes, Chili Goblet is the best. My house is in the Goblet as well.
I'm kind of partial towards lavender beds.
Luna's gonna get a house. That's the point I'm making here.
Finally, the Luna,
Anyways.
it gets a house.
Moving on.
Moving on.
They seem to be putting in a new dungeon that spawns from the maps.
I saw that. That was kind of interesting.
The treasure hunter's room, I believe they called it, or something like that.
Oh, that's kind of
Is it like a genie bottle? It's gonna suck you into a little a map inside of there.
Well, I remember Final Fantasy VIII, was it? Where you had the magic lamp that when you used it, you got to go fight Diablos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We already fought Diablos, and we didn't have to do it with a lamp.
Well, we probably
yeah,
won't be
but-
fighting Diablos.
Maybe we're going to go and wreck Diablos' pad and rifle through his medicine cabinet.
Ultros is gonna come back.
With the
Or those
itty bitty
Garuda
space.
boobies.
You knew somebody
Anyways.
had to do it. Come on.
Where was
Yeah.
I?
That's the
Oh.
appropriate reference.
Oh, guys, we're getting new Hildebrand too.
Every major patch.
Every major patch,
Which
which is awesome.
We should have had from the beginning.
Yes, we should have, but I guess they're getting more Scholastic too. If that
Yay!
if anyone
3.4.
if anyone but Sarah cares.
The class tensions. It promises to be like Downton Abbey, maybe a little bit.
Harry
I
Potter
thought it was like a
wants
cheap
those.
Harry
Don't
Potter.
judge me.
Yeah.
Harry
Cheap-
Potter wants those Garuda boobies.
What?
Anyways, we're getting a new flying mount. It is a giant cotton ball.
We get to ride the poof poof.
Zip poof poof. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah,
here
there
at
was no
Phoenix Town
name
Radio,
given.
The poof poof.
You heard it here, folks. It is the
Zip
poof
poof
poof, and you have to
Zip
say it.
poof poof.
You have to say it just like that. The poof poof.
Like Fuckleaf. And Garuda boobies.
And they're also going to make Fenrir and the tank mounts fly as well going
Flying
forward.
bears. Sky Bear returns.
Sky Bear returns.
Oh God! I got my Fenrir mount a week or two ago, like a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? Been a bit at this point, and it's like I'm very happy with it, but part of me feels kind of weird about the idea of it flying. It's like this is just a wolf. It's a cool wolf. It doesn't need to go into the air just to make me feel good.
Did you see
It
the
looks
notes on
weird
how they
if it
want to make it
flies.
fly?
No, I didn't. How?
They want
like-
to go ahead.
It's like kind of creating a trail of ice in the air. Like it's so cold that it's creating little ice steps that it runs on.
Kind of like Iceman.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Have you guys ever seen The Incredibles?
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Oh.
like Frozo.
Yes.
Yeah, Frozone.
Frozone or
Frozone.
like Iceman from Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shoots the ice in front of him and
Wonderful.
slides. So
I think he's canonically gay now. It's relevant to the podcast.
Moving
what?
on.
Speaking of Fenrir and the Gold Saucer, it's gained some major updates with Chocobo Racing in 3.25.
gonna make it a legitimate way to make some MGP possibly.
Oh yeah, increasing the MGP earned. I'm very close to getting my Adamantoise whistle, so
Woo! I'm holding out for Fenrir.
see, I'm working my way up the. I want a
Yeah.
flying spinning turtle, damn it!
It sounds like they're gonna mess with those challenge log bonuses as well, which those challenge log bonuses were a major part of how I got my Fenrir.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I did that for a while, but then I realized I didn't want to sit around waiting for gates.
Well, you just like work on cleaning your house or other things like that. By which I mean you start to clean and then you're like, oh hey, I wonder if it's popped. Oh hey, people are talking about stuff, and then you talk for a couple hours, and then the gates popped.
And then you realize
your
you
house
missed
is
5 of
unclean.
them. And
Also, you haven't cleaned your house.
moving
Oh,
on, new merch.
Guys, yeah, we're getting new merch, and the sad thing is,
We pri-
here over at NA, we won't be able to get most of it.
Well, I'm sure they'll put like the things like T-shirts and the bags over on the NA store eventually.
Yep, but they're also coming out with a cactuar lamp like the ones you can put in your in-game house, but in real life, but not as big. And they have a Pisa sleeping mask also.
I am
which is
torn
the best
between
thing.
that would be incredibly tacky and oh my god, can I get 12?
Right?
And I'll have them in the background when I stream, so you can all see my tacky little cactuar lamps.
Yeah.
But those cactuar lamps are going to be available from the Crane games over there.
Mm-hmm. Either way,
So-
we're not going to be able to get them.
This next
Hey
one makes
guys,
me even
who
sadder.
wants to go to
though.
Japan with a sledgehammer?
Woo!
And then we can
Have
stop by
Crane games.
and we can stop by 7-Eleven to get promotional codes that we can get stuff in the game for it too. Because that's a thing now as well.
Yay!
Basically, you buy Slurpees or Slushies or what the fuck they call them, and you get codes that you enter into Mog Station, and you get points that you can use to buy stuff.
Yeah, I saw some of the stuff that you're supposed to be able to get. The fact that apparently MGP is included in that.
30K MGP.
Yeah, I mean they've always said like, hey, MGP is not going to be a thing you're able to buy. All of that. This feels really close to or over the line on that.
Well,
I don't know.
This is a 1-month promotional event over there, so
Dude, do you know how many Slurpees I can drink in a month?
all of them.
Probably. I don't
All
know.
the
I feel like I'd
Slurpees.
get diabetes, but it's probably a lot.
No, it's diabetes.
I'd get that too. I would
Okay.
have both. It wouldn't end well.
And there were a few other things that they talked about as well, but and then they had the UI director on there, and like I said, we're going to link the full notes in the show page when that goes live. So check that out. If you have questions on anything you saw, like what you heard, let us know. Send us an email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at PHXDNRadio, or you can just go out to our website when we get all this out there, www.phoenixdownradio.com, and you'll see not only show news, but game news, Final Fantasy news, stuff like that. So go check it out. Tell us what you think. We've been working really hard on all that stuff. So there we go.
Yeah. If you head over there right now, first post should be the Q&A. So there you go.
Yep, Luna did actually link it as a post, but I'll also include links if we need to on the other place. So, do I see a Nestor in the background?
Oh God, it's a Nestor.
Oh God, it's a Nestor.
It's okay. He's wearing pants.
This time.
Don't tempt fate.
All right, I'm going to throw out a warning right now to everybody who has not done the 3.2 storyline. We are going to be talking spoilers. So we don't like to have people go away, but just to be safe, I'm going to warn you right now. The next good chunk of show is going to be talking about 3.2 in depth. We're going to talk a little bit about 3.0 and 3.1 as a build up to it, and then talk about 3.2. So if you don't want to hear about it, this is the time when you go run the game, do the stuff, and then you can come back and you can listen to the podcast and you can hear our discussion, and you can yell at us and argue with us saying that how wrong we were in our discussion, and tell us how bad we are.
Yeah, send us an email telling us how bad we are.
Exactly, because we want
We're
them
not pulling
emails.
any punches here. Like Master Matoya's plastic surgery, I'm gonna get into it.
All right.
What? That could have been a thing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been warned. We are going to talk about, this is going to take up our discussion and our lore segment because we want to get a little more in depth on this. We're going to talk about the 3.2 storyline. Now, who of you liked this much better than 3.1?
I did. I am so.
Yeah,
I
think
really
so.
liked it.
It got a lot of really good build up, a little bit of that geopolitics that I always really like. Definitely feels like we're really laying the groundwork for some good stuff coming up.
There's a lot of groundwork that was laid, and we'll discuss that as we go through the pieces. It starts off bringing us into trying to figure out how to get in touch with Minfilia. And we learned that Minfilia was probably sucked up by Hydaelyn in the same magic that Thancred and Y'shtola used to escape the tunnels there, and but she never came back out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heidelin's kind of shown this sort of willingness to hijack these other processes to kind of get in this other stuff and be like, to reach out and contact people directly. And so when this opportunity came for it, Heidelin does not hesitate.
Yep. I mean, that's
Heidelin's designs are great and vast.
she is the goddess, the mother crystal. So it really explains why Minfilia went back the way she did, and how it all happened. Basically, what ended up happening is Heidelin used what power she had left. We'll learn more about that, to piggyback Minfilia onto Y'shtola's magic and bring her to the crystal and basically tap into her power to help her out. Because as we learn going through the anti-tower, and once we get there, Heidelin is weakening and really weakening fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they also brought up that Minfilia has always had this connection to Heidelin, so definitely seems like Heidelin wanted to kind of take advantage of that.
Stronger than just an echo like the Warrior of Lights have. So
yeah.
Warriors of Light, excuse me.
Hey, there's just the one, and it's me.
Sarah.
Yeah, you
We've
keep
been
telling
over
yourself
this.
that.
Cool story.
It is a cool story.
The one thing I was disappointed on with this portion of it was the exposition of learning about the anti-tower. It seemed like it was, oh, you want to get there? There's this thing that I'm in charge of. It's like, what?
Yeah, there's been kind of a running gag. Is it a running gag? But a running theme of Matoya being involved with all this other stuff that the Charlanes didn't necessarily realize the true value of. But at this point, it did kind of feel a little bit Deus Ex Machina-y.
I mean, it just how. Oh yeah, I did this thing, and here it is. Go ahead, you can go, but I didn't tell you about it, type of thing. And it's just like, it felt forced.
Yeah, it really did. Like, all of a sudden, oh, hey, yeah, I'm involved with this thing. Oh, you guys need to go there, coincidentally?
Oh, here you go.
What about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, but the dungeon itself was cool. I still don't quite understand why we're fighting Calcabrina in there, but
Just Charlane magic defenses, I guess.
and what the other one
I was more surprised and amused by all the music references in there.
Yeah, why are the
And
Porogo
second
Rogo
bosses.
singing the Rainbow Connection?
Because it's not easy being that's death line.
But I have to say, I loved the David Bowie reference with Ziggy and the Stardusts.
God.
Yeah.
The Kermit the
took me a
Frog one,
moment.
though.
Yeah, but I thought that the David Bowie one was even more touching since his passing. So
Yeah, like, was that intentional? Like,
I'm
I
assuming
don't know.
so.
I don't know what the development cycle on these things looks like.
None of the names of things are finalized until they are about to release them, really. So I'm betting it was intentional.
Okay.
It's possible they may have wanted to do it all along, timing wise. But still,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool boss, but like I said, I don't understand why giant dolls were down there, especially giant dolls that are supposed to be in Final Fantasy IV. I don't understand the whole tie-in with that one. That one, I mean, the boss fight and the mechanics were cool, but like I said, it seemed shoehorned in there for fan service. And I'm not sure if I liked that.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the right opinion, but...
Oh, God. Here we go again.
I mean, that's fair. It was kind of... They've definitely shown that, hey, they're willing to slip some stuff in there to be like, hey, we're going to have the fun reference. There's been stuff where it's like, we're definitely doing this for the reference. So I guess I'm used to that to some degree.
Yeah, that's all this one was.
I think people are willing to forgive it a bit more when they actually do it as a fun reference.
Like I said, I'm only complaining about it because we're talking story-wise. Like I said, as far as the game part went, it was great. It was fun. I liked it. But story-wise, it doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense.
Yeah. Well, it did give me my cosplay idea for FanFest.
Yeah, Calcabrina confirmed.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
I have to hang out with someone else at FanFest now.
Sad. All right, so once we beat down
you can
this...
make this better by offering to come play with me forever and ever. And why am I helping you?
moving on, once we beat down these creepy, nasty dolls, we then have the scene with Minfilia as the word of the crystal. And
The word of the mother.
The word of the mother, sorry.
How dare
Terms.
you? How
Well,
dare you?
I feel like the whole reference to Heidelin as the mother may become something that becomes important later on.
Now, I was kind of, did you guys notice during the cutscene there was a lot of, it seemed like Heidelin was imposing her will on Minfilia quite a bit. There was some wheeze, and then there was a portion where Minfilia seemed to come out and talk, like she was talking as Minfilia, then it took back over again and went back into the wheeze and the eyes and things like that. It just, how much power that the crystal had to exert over Minfilia to get the message across.
Yeah.
So do you
I
feel
like
that
it-
somewhat she is somewhat an unwilling participant in this?
I don't know about unwilling, but it's definitely something where she doesn't seem to exert that much control. Like it's kind of acting like, hey, here's this person who's being kind of a soul jar thing, being this convenient conduit for this power, but she's just this conduit.
Maybe
there's
she's. Go ahead.
It doesn't really seem like something where there's a whole lot of like, hey, we're going to talk about it together. It's okay, this is what I need you to do. You're going to do it now.
Yeah, maybe she's just a doll of Heidelin. Maybe that's where the connection comes in with the anti-tower.
So why don't they just use the creepy dolls then?
Because Minfilia's there and people need closure.
And bigger boobs?
Garuda boobies.
These are Milfilia boobies, so totally different.
Minfilia boobies.
Different level there. Come on. Then they talk about there's some talk about, is Heidelin real at this point? Is Heidelin just a primal? Because all these calamities, as the story talks about it, the calamities have been weakening Heidelin's powers significantly. I mean, we're looking at 7 calamities at this point that have basically stripped the crystal of her power. Now the word talks about the darkness is greed, light and darkness split into 14, and calamities bringing about the rejoinings. Speculating now that 14 of these Zodiac awakens, but are we looking at one astral era and one umbral era being actually 2 events?
Yeah.
Possibly? I don't know.
It seems like, and this was actually something that even came up in the description in the journal. By the way, for people who want to follow along in the game about what's happening with lore stuff, the journal does a fantastic job of recapping things and often making clear stuff that wasn't initially. So I will almost always, after a major plot point, go back and read the retelling in the journal for a summary of it. But one of the things that did come up is Heidelin only got to explain part of it before being interrupted by something we're not really clear on. So once again, when we're about to get the full story, we only get part of it, which is more than a little frustrating.
Yeah, at that point, Heidelin weakens and Minfilia basically just breaks apart in front of our eyes. Kind of creepy, but wondering, so what's happening now? But at that point, we go back to the tower and out the same way we came.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, he's back. We were wondering if we lost you there for a minute, Sayo. Sayo.
Hey,
Okay, we just figured
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you're just really
Hi.
quiet today. That's your cue to say stuff. But anyway, I guess moving on. So then we go back and talk to Matoya again, and they talk about how we're fighting a war and sacrifices need to be made. But Alphino doesn't want to hear that. We need to save everybody, right?
And this is a theme that they've revisited with Alpha Note's character over and over, where he's got like a lot of these big ideals of stuff he wants to accomplish, and being confronted with the reality of what that means. With the, hey, maybe this isn't the world doesn't work that way. Maybe you can't necessarily achieve that. He's definitely has a lot of those big dreams, but it likes to highlight the fact that he's still a bit immature and that he still hasn't necessarily accepted what he's going to have to pay for them or what he's not going to be able to do.
Yeah.
That's been a recurring theme with his character, and it's really fun to look at how it develops.
Alphino is definitely, still a little bit immature and a little bit. God, I had the word on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it right now.
Juvenile.
Naive.
Naive.
I think.
Thank you. That's exactly it. Very naive to the ways of the world. So the fact that he wants to save everybody and everything. I mean, it's a great trait to have, but we're finding that a lot of people in this game, NPC wise, are at the realization that the sacrifices need to be made. So he just isn't.
It's really not only him too. Sankard is very attached to Minfilia. And that kind of
in this
to,
definitely in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically Thancred and Alphino really want to try and save Minfilia at all costs, but we're not sure where this is all going to lie. We're going to have to see what the storyline brings us. Yeah. But we move on at that point.
That both of them want to do it, and both of them have that whole like the being absolutely devastated, but for the different reasons. With Alphino, it's kind of this big ideal, hey, we're doing this as a team, we're all together trying to achieve this big type of thing. But for Thancred, it's a lot more personal. A lot of that ties into the history he has with Minfilia, which shows up a lot in the 1.0 Old Oz storyline that gets referenced here. And so for him, there's a lot more of the, doesn't necessarily have that naivete, but he still has that attachment to this and still ends up being hurt by it. So it's kind of interesting to contrast their differing reasons and attitudes.
I just got this thought. I'm thinking that with Alphino, a lot of this is actually projecting how he's dealing with the loss of his grandfather and projecting that onto Minfilia and all these people that he's working with. So, we'll see it more in the storyline that he wants to save everybody. He's projecting that he doesn't want to lose somebody else like he lost Louisoix, I think. Mm-hmm. That's how he's dealing with it. Alice was dealing with it by actually digging into the coils with us in 2.x and understanding the story at that point, where Alphino is doing it by projecting and trying to save everybody else.
Right. And like Louisoix also had that sort of desire to save everyone, but he had a bit more of the experience, the understanding, and the knowledge of the sacrifice that it would take to do that.
Yep. So that's the Crystal chapter. At that point, the storyline turns back to Ishgard and the Dravanian Peace Conference. We go talk to Amaric in the Forgotten Night or whatever place next to it. I'm bad with names.
The Congregation of...
Yeah, that place.
God, I can't remember. Yeah.
The place over there.
And you are not allowed to be an Ishgardian tour guide anymore.
Nope. They fired me from that job like day one.
And on your left, you see a place. Stuff probably happened there.
and then the things. The stuff and things. Questions. Moving on. So we go to Falcon's Nest. I know that place. I've been there many times. Because we want to make sure that Dravanian Horde against Peace doesn't want to go and wreck shit up.
Yeah, Nidhogg's it's known that Nidhogg is a factor in this, that he's out there somewhere, that he very much wants the war to continue until every last scrap of Ishgard has been burned to the ground. So he's a known factor in this. Yeah,
so we go there to see how the plans are going and make sure that there's no dissenters. But there are dissenters.
Yeah.
Out at the Convictory. That's a place, right?
That's a place.
That's that camp of dragon slayers a bit to the northwest by the Dreaming Dragon.
And on the left, you see more snow.
Made up of a lot of people seeking to prove themselves, gain glory by slaying a dragon, or dying in glorious combat against a dragon.
And then we realized that...
a lot of people...
Go ahead, sorry.
A lot of dispossessed nobles and peasants looking to rise up. It's an interesting batch of people, and a lot of the quests with there involve helping them support them in this against this, and in some cases coming to terms with the nature of the war that they're fighting and what they've taken on.
So the people in charge go out to see what's going on out there, leaving Amandalane left in charge. That was a great choice, right?
Uh-huh.
He's got to get his experience sometime.
What could possibly go wrong? We go get some food, we get served a roofie colada, and pass out.
Like roofie coladas.
Do, do.
And getting dragged away.
Do, 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 do. Anyway. Now that we derailed
I-
Sayer.
The only thing that I would have to say about that is beware of anybody that you don't know that has the voice actor.
Yeah.
Is this like in the older RPGs when it's like, oh, this person has a portrait, they must be important?
Yeah, pretty much.
So then we wake up, or Thancred wakes us up, slaps us saying, "What the hell are you doing drinking the roofie coladas, boy?" And you get out there and you see the person who drugged you trying to raise up a descent out there. And then something wonderful happens. And by wonderful, I mean shocking.
This is another theme that I've seen explored in a lot of stuff that's dealing with these, like, it's this really idea that people find really attractive, that, oh, you defeat the king of the evil empire, and it turns out that they were somehow the ones subverting everything, and now everyone's happy and turns to peace and everything's happily ever after. And really, it's more like, okay, you turn their king, and now you have a nation of people saying, you assassinated our leader, we demand blood. Wars don't end just because the leader dies. They have momentum. And so anything that really gets at that idea kind of I remember Suikoden 2 was one that explored this really, really well. Absolutely love that game. But just this whole idea that a war is a thing that takes on a life of its own. The belief, the propaganda, and Ishgard is one where the belief comes in spades. That type of the stories behind it, all of that, that is not something that just one person gets to stop. And if you try to stand in the path of it, it will mow you down.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something you have to keep working about. So basically, there's still the faction being a trying to keep this war going because they don't want their loved ones' losses to be in vain. So of course, you got to fight it with fighting, right? Because that makes perfect sense.
Well, I mean, there's a very famous quote about it. How do you tell someone to be the last to die for a particular cause? I'm paraphrasing a little, but how do you say, okay, these deaths were okay, but we're done at this point. It's like, oh, it's okay that my father died, that my husband died, their death is all right, but now after that we have to stop it.
Yeah.
That's not something that goes over very well.
Well, even in fiction, how often do you see, like, really an about face in a war like this?
Yeah,
It doesn't really happen. It's pretty safe to say that in real life it doesn't happen either.
Yeah, but I mean,
Right.
it's nice to see that they're addressing that it's not a happily ever after thing, that there is still dissent. So I like where the story's going there.
Definitely. I'll just point out as real world examples, the Middle East peace process actually has a lot of similarities to this. There have been cases where I think it was Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated by his own countrymen because they didn't approve of the direction he was taking the peace process. There is a lot of historical precedent for this.
Lots of craziness. But anyway, getting back into the game and how that gets handled.
Yes.
So Mannerlane wants this person talking to stop, and the guard next to him assumes that means to shoot them twice.
Yeah. Well, the first one didn't do it.
Because, that's a thing, right?
Well, it certainly did. She definitely stopped talking, but
it didn't do what they intended it to do. It just basically almost martyred her and helped their cause.
And that's the one we've seen with Emma Lane. He's been kind of this goofy, happy-go-lucky character, sending you off on silly errands, having you do his chores, and having to face up to what his attitude has wrought, that he doesn't really understand the obligations of a noble, and he just makes more of a mess of things.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see his character growth.
It hurts to see him get his comeuppance in that way. You can tell that he didn't want any of this to happen, that he's just so out of his depth.
He just doesn't understand what it takes for this to happen and what the consequences actually are. Now he's seeing that, there are real life consequences to things going on, and you can't just buy your way through it just because your daddy's rich.
I think the other end of this too, though, is that especially with something like that, when you have Ishgard a place that had absolute rule by the Holy See for so long. When you had somebody needing to be stopped for heresy reasons or whatever have you, that was going to be absolute. So more often than not, the person was going to naturally think stop means stop, and stop means kill.
Yeah, the life of a heretic is worth nothing. Cut them down. Like the idea that, hey, someone can legitimately protest and their life still has value. That might be a bit of a new one for them.
Very true. So, but I mean, then
It's so much easier when the enemy's on the outside.
but when it's on the inside and you're trying to keep things moving in a sane direction, yeah, it's tough to deal with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, he doesn't really understand what's going on, and he basically freaks out. And the peace conference basically goes on hold at that point. And in the all the fun stuff that happens between then and now, the Emerlane, I have such a trouble with that name. Emannerlane Squire kind of goes missing in all of that, and we kind of find them getting their ass handed to them, and Emannerlane doesn't take that very well either.
Yeah, that's I think was just another really great example of this thing, which for him has seemed like this thing that's kind of not necessarily fun, but it's at a distance. It doesn't have anything to do with him. He can just be the noble fop who does whatever. It's like, nope, the stuff he does is going to have consequences for him and for people that he cares about.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
we've seen over and over how devoted he is to his well, I don't know that's quite the right point, but like he is very close with his squire. They have a lot of camaraderie together, and so having seen how his actions end up endangering the life of his squire, we already have the hey, he's horrified all this, but on some level that was still kind of abstract, and having it happen to someone he cares about really brings it home.
Yeah, and then his appeal for sympathy comes up short a little bit with Thancred just punching him out. That was actually pretty funny.
Person.
Especially
the wrong person there.
at the wrong time. I mean, maybe in the past Thancred might have been a little more sympathetic, but with what's going on right now, Thancred ain't having none of that shit. So, I mean, yeah, that was quite interesting seeing how that kind of all went out. And it's like, you need to grow up and grow up fast, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thancred's character has really taken a 180 since he's come out of the Ethereal Sea.
Yeah, he's very dark. I think and now with the potential loss of Infilia, we don't know exactly where all that's going, but with her being potentially lost, that's really hit him hard as well.
Yeah. As like the whole scene where Emannerlane gets punched, like in other works like this, where that type of thing happens, I was like, ha, yeah, that'll teach it. Like, there's a certain kind of visceral satisfaction to it. I didn't feel that here. I just felt sad for him.
Was anybody else kind of reminded of that whole scene in Airplane? Where the line forms behind him with the people want to slap the crazy lady?
A little bit.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Or maybe it's just my weird thinking, but I was just waiting for, other people to just line up behind him, just wanting to get a whack at him. Somebody with steel knuckles, somebody with, a bat, and on and on and on.
He is still a Discardian noble.
We've actually had a picture that before 3.2 came out for about a month. We had a little picture of the Minfilia as what we would later come to know as the Word of the Mother, and Thancred punching out Emannerlane. Like, oh, I wonder what stupid shit Emannerlane's going to do to cause that to happen.
I know.
Yeah, I saw that picture too, and I thought it's like, okay, there'll probably be something a little bit hijinks. Like he does something stupid and he has to be physically corrected for it in a way that's a little bit physical comedy. And no, this one was a lot darker.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the peace talks are put on hold for now, and the mood is very, very bleak. So what do they want to do? They want to fight. But who do they want to fight? They want to fight the rest of the Alliance, apparently. They want to do something called a Grand Melee. Basically, to try and get the what's the word? Yeah,
like they're kind of trying to restore the national pride, have some big exercise that they're involved with that says that like it's like, yeah, our entire 1,000-year history of this stuff was overturned and we may have been the villains, but there's something in Ishgard that's still worthwhile. We still have something we can be proud of.
Yep. So the Warrior of Light gets guilt tripped into playing for the Ishgardians, apparently.
Dude, I wanted to. It was pretty great. I totally supported their cause on that.
Totally got guilt tripped. It's like, come on.
Emmerich played the
come
the
on.
card.
Yeah.
Come on.
Plus, it had a thing that mechanically I am hoping to see a lot more of in future patches.
Oh my god, yes. I mean, regardless of what side you're playing on, the premise of this single quest was wonderful. I loved. It was basically like the easiest thing I can call it is like football with swords.
Yeah.
Where you basically you're taking out the marked player to get more points for your team. And team with the most points wins. And then so you're knocking down the team with a tether and getting all the points, and then
it feels like it's kind of progressing like a reasonably standard fight.
So you're basically like the quarterback for the Ishgardians, and then for the Eorzean Alliance, the quarterback is none other than Raubon. So you know where that's gonna go, right?
God,
there's no way it couldn't.
Yeah, you end up with this grand duel with Raubon, which everybody wanted since 2.0 with that massive sword, right? I wonder how it would have been if he had two good arms.
That fight
Klaus,
was
too soon. Too soon.
It's not too
pretty
soon.
amazing, though.
Oh, it was scripted, but and it was really easy to read, but it was still fun. I mean, it wasn't like slash done.
I mean, like, it was scripted, but like in a way where I could imagine that in the midst of this, the people who are operating those little tether things are like, yeah, those two need to fight, and they like purposely like it's scripted, but in a way where I could believe that in universe they were scripting it as well, just for that's gonna be the big dramatic fight. That's the one we're gonna put money on.
I Am Tuck is calling for a Raubon EX 1v1.
I actually wouldn't mind that.
Best minstrel's ballad.
And of course, in that version, he's going to have two arms, because that's how the minstrel's going to see him, with both arms.
Yeah, well, he'll just leave that little detail out of the story. It's unsavory.
And you know what? Exciting. Mid X fight, he pulls off one of his arms and he smacks you with it.
Medieval style.
So one of the things I actually really did like about it was the fact that it puts a special glamour on you for that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, but honestly, the glamour is boring.
Yeah, well, I didn't like the glamour. I liked the concept behind doing it, but I didn't like the actual glamour.
I thought it was neat.
It was too greenish, bronzish, plainish.
I've always liked the Haberson model, so that was perfectly fine by me. Like it felt like, hey, I was a foot soldier in part of a big group.
I'm no goddamn foot soldier. I'm the Warrior of Light, bitch.
For the sake of Ishgardian morale, you are a foot soldier among many.
Says the person who says, I am the only Warrior of Light.
A foot soldier that in universe was said to have carried the team's victory.
Well, yeah. And I mean, like, it's acknowledged that that's part of it. But the symbolism of you, like this person who's this huge god slayer, yada, 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 being part of the team. Like, the symbolism there alone.
Yeah, but I have to address something in chat. Chili, I will go ahead and insult that armor if I so choose, because that's like my opinion, man. But Chili loved that glamour. He wants to buy it from the Mog Station. I can see that some people liking it. I like the theory behind it, but I thought, like I said, I just thought it was too plain.
I like that.
At least give casters a little bit of a say in what we were wearing, because that didn't make any thematic sense.
And it would look at a way to screw up what people think your class is when you go into PvP now.
Right.
You got a white mage wearing a hauberk.
Haberson, thank you.
Well, isn't it basically a hauberk, like from 1.0?
It was called a Haberson then too, I think.
Same difference.
Do not make me get out the medieval armor notes.
Oh God. Oh God.
We're
you
saving.
know I'll do
Moving
it.
on.
We're saving that for another episode, Sarah.
Moving on.
Moving on. So, we destroy the opposing forces, and and Ishgard is victorious, and everyone's all like, yay! Even though they realize that they wouldn't have had a chance if you weren't there.
Yeah, but if it had been you by yourself, you would have gotten creamed too.
No, because I'm the warrior of light. Damn it.
That's not how mass battles work.
So everybody's all happy and friendly again, and they say it was so awesome, blah 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 blah. Anyway, it was, like I said, it was fun. It did what it intended to do, and the peace talks are back on. So now they're ready to get Vidofnir and her brood, or whoever wants to go out to Falcon's Nest out there, and Aymeric is going to give his speech again. And this line, I'm not the only one who's thought this. This line really did catch me. What does it, and we'll discuss what this means. If I should choose to deviate from my prepared remarks, I only ask that you trust me.
Yeah, what was he considering doing there?
Yeah.
Or if he did deviate, what did he change?
I mean, what he said sounded reasonably standard, but I did get the impression that he was thinking about doing something that might have been shocking.
Or maybe the shocking part was going to come after the whole incident with our good buddy Nidhogg.
Yeah, whatever he was doing might have been preempted.
Yep. Anyway, jumping back just a touch, beautiful speech goes on. They reveal the stone carving of Saint Shiva and Hraesvelgr, and it was really nicely done artwork. I thought
that was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
And Darkstar brings up the point. What was they whispering at that point? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
The whole whisper part, what was going on there?
Huh.
So we'll have to see what that comes out. I've heard people speculating that Aymeric is playing both sides, but again, it's just a speculation. We'll see what comes up with the story. But
I can't get betrayed by everyone again. I just can't.
It's gonna happen, Sarah.
he's gonna unsub if that happens.
No, you won't.
No, he won't. But
No, I won't.
he'll cry for about a day, and then he'll come back and he'll slap Aymeric up and.
I'll be sad about it.
With Aymeric, though, it's a little bit of a bigger stake, I feel, than what Oberd was.
Yeah.
We've kind of known him longer.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, our pal Nidhogg comes in the form of Estheim. Estinian, I'm sorry. Estinian. I've been playing too much Record Keeper and got, Hope and all that stuff in my brain, so sorry. Estinian shows up and looks very... who is the character from that one fighting game? Soul Calibur.
Voldo?
No, the one with the arm. The Nightmare. Was it Nightmare?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Nightmare.
Yeah, with that whole freaky arm, those eyes in his arm and his shoulder, that was like all freaky and shit.
Yeah.
And they were moving on their own. I think the freakiest part about it was one was on an elbow, one was on a shoulder. So, I mean, it was totally off kilter. It wasn't even looked like it was equally symmetrical, glamorous style, or functional even. How can somebody see you at that different levels like that? Ugh. Makes me dizzy thinking about it.
If you have your eyes that way, I imagine your brain would actually be able to take the input from them and process them appropriately, but it's going to be a bit
still
weird.
Creepy.
Oh, well, yeah, no question about that.
So anyway, he comes down and he does a super jump on the back of Vidofnir and splatters blood all over that nice new stone relief.
Mm-hmm.
That's not symbolic.
No, not at all. And thinking, oh god, now Nidhogg's killed Vidofnir, and then this is never going to happen.
Yeah, I was worried about that too.
But then we realized that, spoilers, she's not dead.
Like everyone else
Like
in this
everyone
game.
else, exactly. So that she's not dead, but then Nidhogg takes Nidhogg form again and flies off, after doing his evil laugh, and basically it ends up tying the two factions together even tighter, the Dravinians that aren't following Nidhogg and the Ishgardians to fight their one common enemy at this point. So instead of driving a wedge between them, it actually drove them closer.
And you see this a lot with frequently with terrorist attacks. Either it's if it's it may be something where it manages to sow that fear and dissent and sort of like drive them apart. But if it doesn't succeed in doing that, it usually just brings them closer together against a common enemy. So terrorist techniques like that are hugely risky for that reason.
Yeah, and not only that, it also kind of brings out the worst in people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we get pulled aside by Alphino, and Alphino again wants to save Estinian. Don't want to kill him. Wants to kill Nidhogg, but not Estinian. Got to save him. Got to save them all. Pokemon.
Yep. And there's that aspect of Alphino again. Wants to achieve these great things, but is still reluctant to make the sacrifice for it. They could go either some way where it's like Alphino continuing to learn about the idealism, or I could see like being successful on it and Alphino being able to show that yes, this is something that sometimes happens, but it's not something that must happen. It could go either way on that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I still think a lot of it's having to do with how he's just projecting all of his emotions about losing his grandfather and has to save everybody else so he doesn't lose anybody else. But like I said, we read it how you want. He doesn't want to give up on his friends. I mean, it's noble, but like I said, a little bit naive.
Yeah, well, we've got plenty of time to wait before we get to develop that a bit more and see what they're actually trying to do with it.
So we have a lot of threads out there that really need some to be addressed, to be closing out, because we're going to be closing out the Dragon Song War, they say, in 3.3, I think is what they said.
Yeah.
That's the rumor.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get really tied up. Are we going to see more of this in 3.25, a small story patch that maybe addresses something?
I don't know about that. Have they generally done a significant story in patches like that?
Significant, no, but something that might tie up a minor loose end. I know.
The only thing I've ever seen them do is in 2.55, which was the end of Realm Reborn.
Yeah, because not all of the content was quite ready for 2.5, and they wanted to split it in two.
Yeah, but that's less a pacing issue thing than the stuff's not ready.
Yeah,
yet.
a lot, but there was a lot of content to split for 2.5. That would have been almost like that was basically 2 patches worth. But the timeline, they needed to get it done in a shorter phase than just the standard patch cycle, so they split it in half.
Right.
And maybe they were finalizing the last bits of it as well. So
I think it worked out.
Yeah, it was good pacing.
It's like one of those 2-part season finales of any good TV show.
Ooh, yeah.
But the cliffhanger sucks.
It'll come. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then we get our little teaser with Ida and Papalymo. And then we see an anonymous person with a mask. And
that really threw me. I have no idea where that's going.
So...
well, this is something that it showed up a little bit in the Paladin storyline. You have the whole thing with like Uldan assassins, a lot of the stuff that continues to go on there, groups like Death's Embrace. So I'm wondering if there's like some element of that that's sort of infiltrated. So Alamigo, or Ida and Papalymo are clearly involved in the Alamigo resistance. One wonders if there's elements in Uldan that are trying to influence it in some way.
Oh boy. Well, I have to interrupt here. I guess there was just a lodestone post dropped. 3.25 we are getting maintenance on Monday.
Whoa, already?
Wow.
Yep. Chili just linked in the chat. We will post this out on phoenixdownradio.com so you can read up about it. If you can't click on Chili's link, we will be posting about it, but Lodestone does say 3.25 is Monday, so I stand corrected on that. We are getting 3.25.
Wait, they just posted that? It's freaking Saturday. Go home, people.
Well, yeah.
Where is this? I'm looking on there right now, and I do not see it.
It's probably in that top bar where it just says maintenance, and there's probably a big maintenance. If I had to guess,
Okay, yep, right there.
All world maintenance.
All right, so we've got that to look forward to.
325. But dude, they're posting this at like 8 p.m. Pacific on a Saturday. Go home, Square Enix people.
You're drunk.
See your families. Relax.
They can probably do it from home, sir. That's probably when the word came out from Japan to go do it. So
Enjoy your goddamn weekend.
See, I was actually hoping they would have waited a week, but it is what it is, I guess. Well,
Nope, it's coming, people.
fortunately, I have this Tuesday off, so I'll be able to play through it and get my Relic quest started again. So
Right?
All right, everyone. Ignore your family for Easter. You know what's more important.
you've got to cap your tomes right now.
I learned my lesson from Christmas. I'm not letting it happen again.
You can have enjoyable experiences with family anytime. Like getting ready for a patch? Dude, serious business here. Also, you should not take life advice from me.
Exactly. So, thank you, Chili, for helping us break this news. We appreciate that. We love being we love being the world first
Chili.
on this type of stuff. Chili, everybody wants to see you on Easter. Everybody loves you.
Aw.
Much love for the Chili.
Can we take Chili home?
Yes, I think we should.
Yay!
let's start the Bring Chili to Hyperion Fund.
You can live in my car, Chili.
After we finish the Send Phoenix Down Radio to FanFest fund, we will start the Bring Chili to Hyperion fund. Proceeds will go to Bring Chili to Hyperion.
But he needs a house. Otherwise,
And
he's not coming.
Yep.
Can some of the proceeds go for booze?
Yes.
Yeah, well, everything aside from the $18 transfer fee is going to go to booze.
You heard him. Donate heavy, people.
Because Sarah needs to drink.
Oh God, working with these people.
And that Chili fund will probably be funded by Chili. Oh, the irony. The sweet, sweet irony.
He's not wrong, I guess.
No, he's not wrong. Anyway, that basically covers the 3.2. We may get into a little bit more discussion on it. We wanted to maybe talk a little bit more on speculating what's coming up, but we are starting to run a little bit longer on time than maybe what I really wanted to. We've got a couple more things to go through. But what did you guys think of that? What do you think of our ideas, our thoughts on how things are going? Send us an email, podcast@phoenixstarradio.com. You can, go follow us on Twitter again. You can follow us on the web, all that good stuff. And, like I said, let us know what you think. We really appreciate it.
But bonus share points if you manage to connect any of this to real-world geopolitical happenings.
Yes.
Oh, God.
That's risky business.
But that's what makes it interesting. Everything is an allegory.
But it's a thing.
One tiny question. Who's Trump?
In this game?
Yeah.
Make this card great again.
I would hope that it would actually be the guy that we sliced in half.
Right?
We are on dangerous ground, people. I'm loving it.
But but it's only an allegory. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, moving on.
Moving on. Speaking of emails, we finally have emails. Our begging last episode worked a little bit. We've got a couple of short emails.
Works.
Yeah, begging works. So we're gonna beg again. We're gonna read our emails, but please, please, please keep those emails coming. We love you guys. We want to know more.
We love talking to you guys. Seriously, let us talk to you. We can be friends.
Yep.
Sarah doesn't bite that hard.
Yep. We want to make sure that we
ask.
We want to interact with our fans, with the community at large. We're trying to reach out there to different segments of the Final Fantasy XIV community to expand on shows, make things better. I'm going to mention this now. We are working to try and get the mods from the FFXIV subreddit on a future episode. We will try and work with other streamers to try and get them as hosts as well. I mean, these are the types of things we're trying to do to not only get us out there, but to expand our ideas, the reach, and really get a good grasp on what's going on out there and make Eorzea great again. I'm sorry I had to roll with that.
You had to go there.
I'm sorry, people. I had to go there, but I mean it in the best way, and I don't have a comb over, so. Anyway, getting into the emails. The first email that we got was from High Cool Decado of Hyperion, and it's nice, short and sweet. I love you guys. The subject was, am I first? And yes, you were the first. So thank you, High Cool. We appreciate it. We appreciate the email. We love you too. You're a part of our free company. We kind of have to. No, we do love you. So,
and like all people who are first on the internet, you get the secret code that allows you to summon internet stuffs to. I had something for this and then I just lost it. Never mind.
This sounded like it was going somewhere pretty cool, and then you just dropped it. Good going, sir.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I
Way to
totally
fuck it up.
I had something. I totally
Yeah, they get the
did.
secret code to get all the cool things, and that secret code is www.phoenixdownradio.com.
Okay, it was going to be better than that.
I know. Hey, come on. I tried to turn, crap into something. Give me a break.
Up, down, left, right,
BA start.
Start.
Sure. We got a second email as well from a user who wishes to remain anonymous. Hey, everyone at PDR. Just thought I would say I really enjoyed this week's episode of PDR. Anyway, for next week, I'd love to hear your opinions on the Duty Finder and if there is any way to improve the quality of the people you find on it. Love, Random Stranger Guy. Now, that is an interesting question that comes up. Duty Finder is one that's going to be hard to really improve the quality of people you find on it unless you start with yourself. With Duty Finder, it's all random, we know, but the best way to improve the quality of people is to be a quality person yourself. Don't be a dick, right?
That's the only thing that you can really do is just take responsibility for what you're doing, because you really can't control anybody else, especially in that kind of situation.
Yep. Be the best Klaus, be the best Sayre, be the best whoever you are.
Dude, they can't be the best Sayre. I'm the best Sayre.
I'm saying it specifically as Sayre needs to be the best Sayre. Luna needs to be the best Luna.
If you try to horn in on my Sayre racket, I will cut you.
He'll cut a bitch. He will. I've seen it.
Don't do it.
More seriously, though, this is definitely something I've seen. Like the same situation, the same people, they'll respond to the cues you give them. If you're coming in cranky, aggressive, all of that, you're gonna get a lot of that in return. When I go in, I will just randomly tell people, hey, that thing you did was actually really cool. Hey, that was really nice handling those ads. Not a lot of people get that done that quickly or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily want to be super fakey about it, but just if someone does something cool, point it out, say, hey, that was a nice job. You don't have to make a huge deal about it. People seem to really like hearing that, and they generally tend to perform better and be pleasant throughout the rest of the dungeon.
Yep. Just be honest, open, upfront about it, and you're going to get a lot of positive response out about that too. Yeah. Now, you can also apply this to, change it from Duty Finder to Party Finder. Now, there you have a lot more control over it. Party Finder is one of those things where you can be very specific on what you're looking for. You can say that you're looking for a learning group for this particular content, and you want people to be open and up to wiping and, have a good attitude. Or on the converse, you can, be looking for a farm party and you want people to know the fight, not be, wasting people's time, because, that's what a party finder is for. It's for finding specific content, the specific way you want to run it. When you go against what they're looking for, that's what causes dissent, confusion, and frustration in party finders, and what causes a lot of bad experiences. So, you know what? If you're creating a party finder, be specific on what you're looking for, and don't be afraid to, in a good way, in a nice way, call out people that aren't meeting your expectations. Say, hey, we're looking for this. You're not fitting that. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. There's nothing wrong with that.
On the other hand, if you are somebody joining a party finder, please read it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're ever not sure on the parameters, I've never seen anyone that particularly minds if you say, hey, you're asking for this. This is what I have. Would this be acceptable? Is this all right with it?
Yeah, there is the option to send the party creator a tell and ask them questions. I've done that many times. Say, hey, I'm actually this, and I've got experience at this point. Can I join you? They may drop the party finder and invite you in. Or be like, or if you're just not sure, you say they're looking for something specific, but you could technically join it, but you're not sure if you quite meet the requirements. Ask them. Say, hey, I've been to this point. Can I give it a try? they'll either tell you, yeah, the worst thing you're going to say is no. But you know what? Just ask.
Yeah, because a lot of the times when I'm making party finders, I will actually use eye level as shorthand for experience. I guess I'm guilty of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the best thing to do, but
But I mean, it's not like you necessarily have a super good way to do it. I've had cases where, like, I ask nicely, I say all this, and the impression they get is like, yes, I may not necessarily be at that point, but I am someone who is being polite and courteous and will probably listen and pay attention and try to treat others well. And most of the time, they're really like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm willing to give that a try.
Yep. As long as you're upfront and honest about it, like I said, either being what you're looking for or being what you can offer to a party finder, just open up those lines of communication. It all comes down to communicating, people. I mean, this is an MMO. We're working with other people. You need to talk with them. It's not like we're just working with AI and NPCs. These are other people that we're working with on the other side of those keyboards. So you know what? Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And,
even though you're an introvert, be a social introvert. I mean, you're on MMO. You're on
The talking.
You're on an MMO. I understand a lot of people are shy. I mean, I'm shy, but like Klaus said, the worst thing they can tell you is no, and that's just something you move on.
Yeah. And I'll mention, this type of stuff is actually really good practice for learning how to do the same kind of interaction with people in real life. Like, if you practice those social muscles, all of that, you would be surprised how much randomly it's like, oh hey, I'm like handling this situation with my boss really well. Oh hey, these people that I saw, this person at line at the store was actually really nice when I was pleasant to them. Let me go ahead. Like, it's one of those things that will pay off in a lot of different ways in your life. So it's definitely worth practicing.
Exactly. And like I said, I think most of us here in the podcast are pretty introverted. None of us are huge social people. At least myself. Sarah may be the exception. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty introverted. I'm like already exhausted from this show.
And
I love you guys, but I'm exhausted.
he does it because he loves you guys, all right?
Pretty much.
That's why we need to hear more from you, because that gives him energy. When he gets to talk about things he loves, it really energizes Sarah. So
he's filled with determination.
Oh god, are we Undertale referencing again?
Again.
I think we're getting there.
All
We're
right.
getting to that point in the show where we just.
I'm sorry, it was the perfect setup. I had to.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, and then we did get a comment on the website from NickNar84. When we were asking for comments, he said, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Otherwise, I really got nothing. So, but yeah. And so my only question to him is this an African or European swallow?
I've got an answer. Dead meme, dinosaur, permaban.
How can you dead meme a classic Monty Python reference? I'm disappointed.
People keep quoting it. It's lost its shock value.
No, it's still funny. It still works. It's still clever.
There's a time and a place for it.
Would you rather have said that that the parrot's not dead? He's pining for the fjords.
I don't even know that one.
That's a classic
parrot
one.
Sketch.
Yeah, that is classic. He's pining for the fjords.
Oh my god, you guys are old.
We are. You know that.
Yeah.
All right. If you all want to have your comment or email read, go ahead and send us a message at podcast@phoenixdownradio.com, at phxdnradio at Twitter, or leave a comment on our website, www.phoenixdownradio.com. You guys want to throw out your how to contact you guys out there?
So for me, it's Twitter is usually the best way for this type of thing, just because I actually get notifications that aren't getting lost in the shuffle there. That would be at SayrFFXIV. That's SeyrRFFXIV.
Sayo.
For me, that would be Twitter is at Sayomeo, SEYOMEYO, no spaces, or at Twitch at Sayomeo _FFXIV.
Luna,
You know, Sayo?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just thinking we should totally sell a brand of mayonnaise after you.
The
Come
Sayo
on.
mayo.
Oh
Say
God!
Mayo.
I'm no gutter. Bye. Anyway,
That gets a little weird.
A little bit.
And
well, I just made this horribly awkward.
Luna.
Anyways, if you guys want to find me, my Twitter is Luna_Vox. My Twitch is Luna_Vox. My Deviant Art, if you want to go check out my art, is LunaVox FFXIV, all one word. And if you go ahead and follow me over on Twitter, I might be announcing something as far as a YouTube channel pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Ooh.
Very nice.
And I can be found at Klaus_FFXIV, KLAUSS_FFXIV. You can also follow the show at Facebook.com/Phoenix Down Radio. And of course, here at Twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio. For those listening on the podcast, if you want to join us live when we go on Saturday nights, go there. Hit the follow button. You'll get notified when we go live, and you can join us, interact with the chat with us, and have a good old time.
ask us awkward and embarrassing questions.
Exactly, like hoping that the Sayo mayo isn't made with all organic ingredients. So.
Oh my God! I wasn't even thinking that.
Really, Sarah? Really?
Yeah, really.
That's a disappointment right there. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the show. For Sayo Mayo, for Sarah Timono, and for LunaVox, I am Klaus Nightbringer, wishing you all a wonderful evening. Thank you and take care.
Have a good night, everybody.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.